And welcome back to the Urban Impact Show. I tried to really sound like it was a news intro. I can't be that. I can't do that fake voice from all. Welcome back to the Urban Impact Show, everybody. I'm one of your hosts, Rob Johnson.
Dwana Bradley.
That is funny. And we're here today to keep you entertained. So check this out.
Yes, we are.
The space that we use is called the studio, and it is available for private events, and feel free to book this space by calling or texting 515-996-0326. Again, this space that we use is available for private events, and you can call or text and book this space by calling 515-996-0326. Really affordable space. I actually like being here. This space is nice and clean. It's pretty awesome up in here.
It is nice space.
Yeah.
We can all see each other.
We can.
No one's in separate rooms.
Yeah,
so.
Eli's birthday was here.
It was, yeah.
And we fit, what'd you think about, 50 people?
I think so. Yeah, at
Close
least
about 50.
Yeah, it's about 50.
Yeah, about 50 people in here comfortably.
Yeah.
We were all chilling, you know. Madison was there. You know, you were there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a bunch of folks. So shout out. I'm so glad to be past the elections. Like, y'all have no idea how glad I am. Even though I think we took a major whooping on Tuesday.
Yeah.
For those who may be subscribed to the way that I think. And then immediately after the election, the announcement comes out that Governor Reynolds is sending back $30 million of child care funding. Immediately after. And then they had asked her, what's happening here, and her office responded, it's deliberate. So, imagine what's going on with these individuals who will now need child care and can't afford it because all of that money is being sent back. So, now, here we are. We're entering a new phase. We're now out of the election cycle. Don't forget, in 2023, the mayor is up for re-election, right?
Yep, I think mayor, some city council.
And a couple of city council seats.
And school board.
School board, yes.
Me included.
Isn't the Board of Supervisors?
No, the Board of Supervisors isn't until 2024. They was this year, and then they'll be 2024 as well.
Yeah.
Wait, your seat is up as well.
It is, yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Elections is coming.
Holy cow.
2023.
We need to decide on who's gonna run in that place.
I am. We're going to keep it going.
Yeah.
You heard it first.
Uh-oh. There we go. So listen, we appreciate y'all coming to the Urban Impact Show. How was your weekend?
Weekend was good. I don't know what's going on right now. I'm dragging. I'm
Britt.
just like trying to get myself together.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm unmotivated right now, and that's not like me. So I don't know if I'm going through I don't know. It's not a mid-year thing because we're at the end of the year. So
The weather changed.
it could be, but I think I'm still recovering from loss that we've had in school, and everything's just kind of compounding. And I'm just sitting here. But then I ain't been doing school either. Like, I just took about 4 or 5 days. Like, I was like, I'm just not reading a book. I'm not doing anything. So yeah, I think I'm just going through we'll call it a November funk, and things will turn around here soon. But yeah.
So are y'all participating in No Shave November?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not.
Why would you?
Robert
off guard.
Johnson.
I was like,
Hey,
no.
welcome to the Urban Impact Show.
I never seen you without this. That would be cool.
So-
you probably look really young.
The number one reason why I'm not going to shave it off is because my child.
It's gonna scare him.
It will.
literally,
But it'll scare
he
him.
literally grips my beard as a
Emotional support.
form of comfort. You know, he's like, even when he's like sleep on me, he'll grab it. You know, so
Rich has one too, and when he cut his off, Richie was like, he acted so funny around him for like a few hours because he didn't know, like he didn't notice, like
Right.
it was his dad, or he didn't know, like
yeah, he was like, who this
Yeah.
is? Like, who this?
he would do the same thing.
Yeah, I think so. But I'm afraid to do it because even last night, and I know everybody said, "Oh, don't co-sleep," but skip all of that. he gonna
Another conversation another time.
Yeah,
We'll leave that
he
alone.
gonna sleep. He gonna sleep wherever
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
let him sleep.
Exactly.
And even last night, like I could tell he wasn't like feeling the best, and so for me to be able to hear him, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna slay him right next to me. And in the middle of the night, all of a sudden, I feel this slap come across my face, and it was like a boom, and then a grip, and I was like, oh, this homeboy done grabbed my whole face.
And it's too, they make sure that we're still there.
That's
So
true.
he was making sure you were still there. Then he's like, okay,
Yeah.
He does that with his feet too. Stabs me.
with his toenails.
Man, let me tell y'all. But so I'm excited for the rest of the year. We have a ton of stuff. We got the turkey drive coming up.
That's right.
We got the and then at the beginning of the year we got the turkey. We got the gas giveaway coming up. And I'm getting the wrap up soon, so we can go to the next segment. But I'm super excited for what's coming. Do me a favor, everybody. Press the share and the like button on this so that we can continue to push out this content. And there's going to be some major announcements coming probably by the end of the year. So stay tuned because you never know which episode we're going to drop it on. We'll be right back. Thanks for tuning into the Urban Impact Show. We'll be right back with our first guest.
Welcome back to the Urban Impact Show. We are so excited to have our first guest with us. We have Ashley Stewart with Expungement Clinic in 2023. How are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Doing great. Thanks for being with us this
Thanks
evening.
for having me, I appreciate it.
Yes, talk to us a little bit about, let's talk about who you are first before we get into the work that you're doing. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so I'm Ashley Stewart. Today I'm here representing Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority, the Iota Zeta Omega chapter. But by trade, I'm an attorney, so I'm going to put on that hat today too, since we're talking about expungement clinics. So that's what I do. And I'm not a native to Des Moines, but I've been here for a while, so now I'm calling you home.
Where are you from?
I am originally from Dallas, but I moved here from
Dallas.
San Diego, California.
I went to school in San Diego. I moved here from San Diego too.
Awesome, look at that, kindred
And I
spirits.
spent time in Dallas. So wow.
Awesome. We're like the same
I
person.
know.
We'll have to chat a bit more
Yes.
after it's over, for sure.
Well, talk to us a little bit about expungement. what that means and a little bit about what will be happening in 2023.
Okay, so this is why this is a perfect show to be on, just to get the word out and explain what expungements are and how expungements can help anyone who needs it. So first of all, expungements are a way to help get your record clean. So here in Iowa, if you have a felony conviction or even a misdemeanor conviction that could be serious, aggravated, any of those and certain felonies, and you've served your time and you've paid all your fines, you have a means to get your record expunged. And so expungement clinics are usually offered by Iowa Legal Aid. And in this case, they're going to partner with Alpha Kappa Alpha and help folks get their records clean.
Wow. That's big. That's a big deal.
Right. Now, is this something that happens yearly, or is this the first time it's happening here?
So the Iowa Legal Aid does it all around Iowa, so Des Moines, Fort Dodge, things like that. But the thing that makes this unique is for the first time, the Iowa Legal Aid is going to have 3 expungement clinics in one day. They've never done that. They were aiming for 2, but Alpha Kappa Alpha beat them to the punch, approached them and said, hey, let's have 3. And they're going to be all around Des Moines. And for the first time, they're going to be on Martin Luther King's Day. And so what better way to commemorate a day of service than helping folks who need to get their records clean?
So what does it mean, expungement clinic? So step 1, what do people have to do?
So the first step is, and I think a flyer is going to go up maybe in the background as we're talking, there is a link that you will click. It'll take you to the Iowa Legal Aid page, and you fill out a form saying that you want to get your record clean. And you can, if you don't know what felonies or what misdemeanors can get clean, still fill out the record. Because what Iowa Legal Aid, or the request, registration, because what Iowa Legal Aid will do is they will run your background and tell us what is, if you qualify, and then they'll contact you and say, look, you qualify. So now we want you to come to the expungement clinic. I should back up here and say the expungement clinics, the 3 we're offering, are all around the city of Des Moines. So we have one at Urban Dream, which I guess would be considered the north side, right? I'm not a native, so correct me here. We have one, and that's going to take place from 5 to 8 p.m., so that's the late one. We have one at Fort Des Moines, the Army base, that's on the south side, and that one is from 1 to 4 p.m. And then the one from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. is at Oak Ridge, which I guess is kind of central. So we have Oak Ridge, Urban Dream, and Fort Des Moines, the Army base. So from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. you can register if any, or excuse me, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. So a 12-hour window. You can register for any time that fits your schedule.
How long does it take?
So it normally takes about an hour. So we have a 3-hour window, but Iowa Legal Aid will give you the window for which to come in. So they'll say your appointment is at 8 a.m. because that's what you chose. You come in, and the fun thing is you meet with an attorney confidentially and privately. An attorney you do not have to pay for. This is a free consultation. Once they fill out the paperwork and tell you you can get expunged, that day they will fill out the courtroom paperwork for you. Iowa Legal Aid will then follow up with you and go to court with you and get your record cleared. So you have a free attorney step by step throughout the whole process.
So what are some things that are qualifying things, for some individuals? Like some of our guests, they might have drug charges or things from when they were really young, a lot of like a juvenile background with those type of charges. So what are some things that can be expunged?
Well, typically it's not a juvenile record. Typically juvenile, once you hit 18 or once things have settled, that is off your record. That is no longer being able to be
I meant
searched.
things like when they were younger.
Of
that
course.
kind of still.
So let's say you were over 18 and you committed a crime, you've been convicted, but now you're 28, it's 10 years later, you're no longer on probation or parole, you've cleared your record. Let's say it's a serious misdemeanor. There are a long list of serious misdemeanors: theft, vandalism, maybe even a aggravated misdemeanor or felony. I can't list them all because it's a long list. But what you do is you come in or you fill out the registration, and we'll tell you if you're clear. Okay. I would say if you have outstanding fines, it would be helpful for those fines to be paid. And if you are not sure if you're on probation or not, let Iowa Legal Aid find that out for you. As an attorney, I would say, don't necessarily contact a probation office. Let Iowa Legal Aid figure that out, and they'll tell you if you're still on probation or if you still have fines to pay. I will say, and I should have said this in the beginning, if you have fines to pay, sometimes there is a way to get rid of your fines through bankruptcy. So Iowa Legal Aid will also talk to you about bankruptcy and whether your fines can be expunged that way, and then they no longer have to be paid. So come to the clinic for that too. And the last thing we're doing at the clinic, which is separate from Iowa Legal Aid, we're doing voter registration, right? Because we just went through an election. We're doing a nonpartisan voter registration. It doesn't matter which side you voted on. What matters is that you vote. And so in order to, the first step to voting is to get registered. But then we know we have a group of folks who are felons, maybe have a record, and think that they cannot vote. We're going to have a voter restoration table for you to figure out if your voting rights can be restored. We know that Governor Reynolds, last year I think, signed an executive order for voter restoration. So if you want to find out about that process and what it looks like, because it's a little different than what it looked 2 years ago, then you come and we will help you determine if you can get your rights restored.
So, Attorney Stewart, they sign up on the website, they go and sit down with this attorney when they arrive, they go through their background, and then after they leave there, they then wait for a court-appointed time to show back up to court with Iowa Legal Aid.
Correct.
And then the judge makes the decision on whether to expunge or not, correct?
That is correct, although there's some things that are taken out of the judge's hands. If you meet the requirements, your record should be expunged. There shouldn't be any, I can't do that,
There's no objectivity
There's no,
to it.
yes, it's really exactly what it is.
Okay.
And so it's the perfect time to come, and it's the perfect day because it's Martin Luther King Day. So what better way at the beginning of the year than to find out if you can start the rest of the year with a free and clear record, which will help if you're applying for a job, right? Because when you apply for a job, the job is looking at your record, and maybe you've been withheld from a job because there's something on there that you could get expunged.
Can y'all get rid of parking tickets?
Well, no, Iowa Legal Aid doesn't help get rid of parking tickets.
Darn. Now, I guess I'll give someone else my approval.
That is a helpful question.
I ain't trying to poke fun, but
You got a couple tickets?
I get those
let's not
the
talk
freeway
about how many
tickets.
I
I have a
got.
few of those
Boy,
freeway
boy.
tickets.
They look, I feel like they're trying to get me.
I mean, like,
Trying
you
to
can,
set me up, Ashley.
I'm a public
need an
defender,
attorney.
so I really don't do parking tickets. But what I will say
I need an
is,
attorney.
you can fight the parking tickets in traffic court, or sometimes it's easier just to pay them if you know when they send you a photo of you running the red light.
your
Well, I guess I gotta pay my fines because
Technically speaking,
showed me
my
speeding.
face, what, give me the legal terms for this. My face was covered. What's the legal term? My face was what?
Well, I guess you're saying they can't identify you.
Because it was covered by a McDonald's wrapper. Covered by a McDonald's wrapper. So all they could see was some eyes.
Well, maybe you have a reason to show up to traffic court and fight the ticket.
Yeah, because I
maybe.
need to face my accuser.
But we'll talk about nutrition on maybe another episode.
Ashley, you come back next week, Ashley. I like that. Come back next week for sure.
What are we doing?
I'm sorry. I don't mean to McDonald's shame. I had McDonald's for lunch. It was good. Yeah. The fries
I like
were really
Ashley.
hot.
Yeah.
Can't beat it. So.
You know, I am. So our legal process is so interesting to me. I had almost I graduated from Drake, and I was trying to decide if I wanted to go get a master's degree, if I wanted to go to law school, what I wanted to do. I decided to chase money, and I went and got my securities licenses to trade stock and do life insurance and all of that stuff instead, right? But I thought about law school because our legal system, the way that this stuff is set up, is just so interesting to me. And it feels like a lot of poor people, I'll say, I'll take color out of it, and I'll just say a lot of poor people find themselves in this whirlwind of the system that continues to drag and pull where they seem like they can't never catch a break. Would you agree or disagree with that?
Look, I think the criminal justice system is complicated, right?
Yeah.
And once you find yourself in the criminal justice system, it's really hard to navigate. And it's really hard to understand how you're going to go, where you're going to go. If it's a criminal procedure or criminal process, sometimes it's easier to take that plea deal, get it wiped off, and just think it's done. And so I'm often talking to my clients about that. But what I will say as an attorney is if you're thinking about going to law school, if you have an interest in law school, if you want to help change your community, law school is a perfect thing to do. Because I pride myself as a lawyer as being someone who can explain the process, make it clear, make you feel like you had a process and that you were with me every step of the way. And I've done trial work, I've left that behind, now I just do appellate work. But it's the same thing. Most clients want to feel like they've been heard and that they got a fair bite of the apple. And let's be real, the U.S. Constitution says you're supposed to get a fair bite at the apple, no matter race, no matter creed, no matter religion, no matter how much you make, so socioeconomic. And I'm a firm believer in the Constitution. So if you are a firm believer in the Constitution, if you believe that social justice equates in the criminal justice system, we know they're linked, right? We know they've been linked since most people found out in 2020. But if you feel that way, if you feel that passion, I often say fight within the system. Fighting within the system gets you a little bit further than fighting outside. But we need both. So it's not too late for you to go to law school. That's what I'm saying.
No,
you got your money,
that's for
but now you can go to law school.
That's
You live right here where Drake is. No,
I've already got to spend a lot of money on a Drake degree.
For Jamarcus, he's told me
Yes.
he's thinking about that.
Yeah.
So
I'm gonna sit back and run my mouth.
well, lawyers do that too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let them know how I feel. I showed up to Polk County one day because I felt like what they did in a situation was absolutely wrong. And you should have seen them in there squirming because I know how to go in. You pay by public dollars, and I'm the public, and you gonna see me. All of this, they not available. I don't play that. No, go get them now.
Yeah.
That's why it's
Go
always
get them
important.
now.
That's why it's always important to know the process no matter the situation. Because if you know the rules and you know them clearly, then the other people who don't know the rules will end up listening to the rules.
The people in the office didn't even know the rules, and they were like, "Oh, well, you need to go." No, I don't. This is public. This is public property. We pay for this. I don't need to go anywhere. Have I broken the law?
Well,
It was their law broken? No, sir. Absolutely. So you and your deputy can get out of my face and go get who I told you.
but you don't want to go to law school? I'm thinking
maybe you should. I'm just gonna put
And
that
it's
out
funny.
there. Maybe you
And it's funny
did.
because the chief is coming out from Polk County. He ended up coming out, and I want people to understand these are different segments, right? The Polk County attorney is different from the chief in the office, right? These are separate people. Like, please understand that these are separate people, and everybody thinks that the Polk County attorney is the person who you're there to see, and most often you want to see these supervisors, these chiefs, these assistant chiefs. Like, these are the folks you want to see, and then the intake people, because these are the people who are making decisions based upon how you're charged, what's going on, and all of that. I'm like, look, somebody gonna have to talk to me. I want everybody rounded up. Ask Sam Powell.
You missed.
I showed up. Hey, all of y'all, let's go.
You missed your calling, Rob. I think you missed your calling. You missed your calling.
In the room, we need to talk.
Ashley, could you just, I know we're getting close to the end, but I would like you just to talk to the person who's hearing all this and they're saying like, yeah, that's not gonna work. I've been down this road before. I've tried this. It's not true. This doesn't make sense. I'm a little nervous about that. Could you just talk to a person who might be in that space right now and why giving this an opportunity is important and could work this time?
I mean, it could work this time only because there might be a new set of folks that you're talking to when you go to the expungement clinic. So that's on the first basic level. There are 7 attorneys at each clinic. You never know which attorney you're going to get. And then I always say, even in my life, the worst someone can tell you is no, but you only hear no if you try. Yeah. If you don't try, you'll never know if it was a no or a yes. And if it's a no, that doesn't mean that's the end of the road. That means maybe in that moment, everything is not lined up. But what I would say is you're probably going to hear a yes. You know what I mean? Because Iowa Legal Aid is going to go through your background check. They're not even going to call you and schedule an appointment if you don't already meet the necessary requirements. Don't count yourself out before someone has told you no to your face exactly. And if they haven't told you no, show up because you're probably going to get a yes. Why count yourself out?
No, I like that. Thank you so much. I want to remind people again, that's January 16th. Because you said it's MLK Day. On that Monday from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. We will have the information on the Urban Impact Show page, so you can click that link and get signed up. So we're encouraging those of you that if this is you, we are highly encouraging you to take part of this clinic next year, January 16th. So Ashley, thank you so much for coming to visit us on the Urban Impact Show. Would love for you to come back again. Love the fact that you pick on Rob a little bit. We always need people that come and, pick on him just a little bit. So yeah, we appreciate that. But thank you so much.
They warned you before you got here.
They didn't, but it's all good.
She's a lawyer though, so she got this, right? Like she didn't need to be warned. She got this. So it's all good. All right, well, we're going to take a break. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be right back with the Urban Impact Show.
And welcome back to the Urban Impact Show. I know that break was really long, but we had to talk through some legal things because we want to make sure that we're bringing you all information that is going to be key and useful. That's the point of this show, is for us to be able to bring you all information that is key and useful. Wouldn't y'all agree?
Yeah, and I feel like, delivered in the manner for everyone to understand and not go over your head.
Yeah.
Because it's easy for things to go over my head. So I like how she broke things down so you can understand it and articulate it better.
Yeah.
Yeah, we want to make it plain for you. Like, just make it plain, simple, so I know. And I think what they were having to offer is going
That
to
is
be
awesome.
amazing.
I know a
It
few
will be
people I could
life-changing
tell,
for some people, and I'm thinking about some people too. So I think, and I like what she said, just try it.
Yeah.
Worst answer you can get is no. If
And
it's
I
a
think
no, that's
I'm
fine.
trying
Too
for
kinda
my
like-
traffic tickets. I
I know,
I'm
like
submit.
I'm happy that they do that vetting process to where they're not wasting your time. Because
Right.
I'll be honest, the first thing I thought in my head was like, is this really gonna work? Is this really legit? Are they wasting people's time?
Yeah.
But I think the fact that they're gonna vet them first and not waste their time.
You and probably 1,000 other people probably thought the same
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's too good to
Like
be
what
true.
y'all selling me,
Too
right?
legit, too quick. Let me
Like,
tell
what
you.
are y'all selling me?
Yeah.
Man, let me tell y'all, the whole legal process itself is
It's a lot. Yeah.
it's crazy. Like, and I know this is for another show, but look at Piper Lewis.
I was just gonna say, can we talk about that? I swear, I was just gonna say that.
Look
Let's
at
talk
Piper
about
Lewis
that.
situation, right? Like, this girl is
Somebody was
molested and
raping.
raped. And the thing, and shout out to Lawana Nelson Brown, who is literally on the front lines of,
Yeah.
of a lot of these things. But one thing she brought to my remembrance is when you're dealing with victims of sex trafficking, you have to remember, like, they aren't just raped one time. It's a continual thing every single day for them, right? And it's a moment where we're like, whew, we probably need to give this girl some grace.
Yes. Why
Like-
is she not giving it? Like, I don't understand that.
Well, she's not given grace because we know that there's a legal standpoint from this, okay? So we know from everything I'm giving, this is not me talking to anyone, it's just reading the news just like y'all do. So we know that, she left the place where she was, okay? So legally, we know that there's a law that's been broken. We know that they're going to bring her back. They're going to have a hearing. They're going to do all of those things. But if we remove the legal part of it, I used to work with women who were sexually assaulted years ago. And here's the thing, there's so much trauma going on that we're not addressing. And so what's happening is anything could be triggering.
Yeah.
So we don't know what the triggers are around her. We don't know the helps that she has or doesn't have. And so that's where I think the grace part needs to come in, and the humanity piece is, yes, I get a law was broken. Was anybody hurt in the process? No, I don't believe so that we've heard of. Did she hurt herself? I haven't heard of anything like that. But my question now becomes, what do we do to help her
What's next
at
step?
this
Yeah.
point in time? What will be another trauma now is because we're following the law, now we're going to throw the book at her again and say, okay, the outcome could be now you're going to serve out your sentence. I guess in my world, I'm like, how does this help her grow? Because now you're going to take her from giving her the opportunity to have some help potentially and not be in jail to where now she's facing it. And so I fault our system in all of this, because what we're not doing is addressing the mental health needs that people need to be addressed. And instead we say, you've done wrong, you're going to spend the rest of your life secluded from
For
everyone.
defending yourself, though.
And that's not gonna help.
For, like,
Somebody-
she was defending herself.
Somebody would say she killed somebody.
No, I get
Right?
that.
So they would say,
She
black
took a
and
life.
white, she murdered this man.
Right.
He's now dead. He can't defend himself. She needs to do time like everybody else who does stuff. But we don't have the same argument when police officers shoot people for no reason. We don't have the same argument when a judge is caught up in a scandal and the law was broken.
Right.
We don't have the same argument when a politician who is running for office is accused of sexual assault. They aren't arrested, charged, taken down mug-shotted, fingerprinted, and then ran through the rigmarole.
Embarrassed.
They're not. They're not. You don't. They don't show up at their campaign location and arrest them, right?
Right.
And if they did it for a political reason, not because it was not because it was a thing, right? And so I think we gotta call a spade a spade.
Yeah.
This girl deserves grace
Yeah.
at the end of the day. And Judge Porter, I felt like you were wrong. David, you were wrong. And I told you this to your face right there at the barbershop. You were wrong. You could have sent this case right back down to the juvenile court, had her last plea thrown out and her tried in juvenile, where she wouldn't have even had to pay $150,000, where they could have retried her down at the juvenile case. He could have did that. He kept saying, "Well, my hands were tied according to the law." That's not the truth. You had other options.
So what's the law say? So is it because is she an adult now?
Now she's an
Now.
adult,
She wasn't.
But at the
when she
time,
committed the
okay,
crime.
I see what you're saying.
And
All
so,
right.
and so here's the other situation that we're running up against, right? Another situation that we're running up against is baby girl is now an adult. When she's arrested for running away, she is arrested for evading and leaving, and brought back to Polk County Adult Jail instead of juvenile, right?
So before she was doing her time in juvenile.
In juvenile,
So now
right?
she's doing it in
and now she's in Polk County, right? And here's the tricky part about all of this. So when she gets sentenced for running away and for the crime, they're going to have, at least what they should, is backdate all of this stuff to when she was a minor, and she can serve out her time in a minor jail for the years according to the years of that, and then transfer her to the adult jail after a certain amount of years. And so I just think sending her right away to an adult prison after what she's been through isn't going to
Do we know,
help her.
has it come out in the news or come out just like in the streets, why she ran away? Did she tell anybody that, like, did something happen that made her do that?
That's where my mind went.
That's
Somebody did something.
Yeah, because why would she do that?
it. Just goes back. I think it goes back to
can't
trick.
say no.
I think it goes back to triggers. I don't know, and I'm gonna stop because I have some theories, but I don't want to start putting it out there and then people saying.
Well, I know what
but
happened.
I do have some theories about things.
And let's just say that when people are dealing with trauma, and then you get on these calls, and you're asking the Attorney General's office to give money so that she can have an advocate, and the first thing out of the Attorney General's office they say is, well, it needs to go through X, Y, Z, and then it needs to be approved through here. And you know, one of those steps in there ain't no approval coming because you know who's in charge of that space.
Yeah.
And so then it's like, well, that still leaves us at a catch because now what we need to really provide resources and help is being withheld based upon policy. Is being withheld based upon a rule that we don't have anybody in the room to help change that policy or change that rule. And this is why voting is so important, right? This is why the shellacking that we took on Tuesday night is so scary, because now when you thought you had an advocate in the room, you don't have an advocate in the room. And when decisions are being made and policy is being made, and then you get them caught up on their own policy, guess what? They can go back into the room and redo the policy to help fit them because there's nobody there to stop them.
Yeah. No. It's so true. Like when
People don't realize it's serious.
No, it is so
no,
serious.
people don't understand
It is so
it.
serious.
Yeah.
And if you didn't vote, you are a part of the problem because when the situation hits your front room or your front porch, you're going to be reaching out to folks like us, asking us to step in and make phone calls and do certain things and to step in and help when we could have had an advocate in the room,
Yeah.
The decision maker.
when we could have had somebody in the space.
Yep.
But instead, now, if y'all notice, they took out Tom Miller. The longest serving attorney general, longest serving
I was
attorney
just
general in
sitting
the
at home
country.
like, man, we done took
So guess what?
everybody
So
out.
if you decide, you know what, the DMPD is racist, that then goes to the Polk County attorney. Polk County attorney then recuses themselves because of the relationship between Polk County and DMPD. That then is then turned over to the AG's office. The top law enforcement person in the AG's office is the Attorney General. The Attorney General then makes the decision based upon where this case will go, on how this case will be tried, every single thing. And so now, even if you thought you had a case, even if you thought you had a win in a situation, when it gets to a certain place, and ain't nobody in the room,
Right.
you're gonna realize it ain't going where we thought it was going. It ain't what they say on TikTok. It ain't giving like it should be giving. Yeah, it's not giving. And that's what you gonna find out real quick. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Now, granted, we got an advocate in the Polk County Attorney's Office, but in situations where you have other branches of the municipality, they gonna have to recuse themselves.
Right. Yeah,
So how do you fight the system
that's a good
that
issue.
that controls all the rules? And you have nobody.
I mean, the whole slate. I
Literally.
mean, it's the whole
Literally.
slate. I
Literally.
watch that. I'm like, every time I turn, I'm like, every single person is doing. Matter of fact, you gotta show up and do nothing because it's gonna be all
The
figured
Democrats
out.
don't even need to show up to the State House.
That's what I'm saying.
So congratulations, Isaiah. He's walking into the Senate.
That's what.
He's walking into the Senate as a figurehead.
I mean,
As a figurehead. He's gonna take his seat and we're gonna do our thing. But we don't control none of the committees. We don't control what goes to the floor. We don't control what gets voted on. We don't control the rules of the floor or how they change the rules or the procedures of the floor. We don't control anything that comes out of the funnel.
Yeah.
We don't even control what goes into the funnel anymore because we lost seats. And then, I don't mean to laugh. And then
you have to.
and
It's
then-
the only way to keep yourself sane. It's just it's
When
crazy.
we push up against whatever that they put out, and we take them to court. The first place it goes to state court. And I don't know if y'all know who controls the state court. I don't know if y'all know who controls the state court. But please understand. It is literally it is literally all out. Like
Yeah.
Like and if any of them think how Trump thinks, they coming for everybody who didn't support them,
Well, let's be
including
clear.
their own.
Let's be clear. Some of them will be showcasing for Trump because they believe that Trump's
gonna
going
be
to be
out
the
there doing
person.
their little dance.
Yeah, they believe that Trump is going to be the one that's going to be making. I think he's making an announcement on Tuesday, if I think, or
he's
something.
announce that he's not running because he doesn't have the support.
Well, he doesn't anymore because they're all now the top people are coming against him. Yeah,
Ron and Pence.
Yeah.
Ron and Pence are pretty much like, yeah, nah, bruh.
Right.
We're not doing this again.
Yeah, step back.
Well, then, so people
gotta wrap it up.
People who are posting 2024, that's just like their own projections, not him. He hasn't announced that he's running.
No, man,
Oh,
he ain't
people
announced.
are just saying that.
It's best for him to just none of that.
It's
But
gonna be interesting to see what Biden does.
it will be very interesting to see
old
what he
is
does. Here,
He'll be 81.
no, I'm not gonna say that out loud. Never mind. It will be interesting to see what Biden does. So we'll see how that.
And I just want people to know this, and I know we're getting a wrap-up signal. Deidre's,
We're gonna shift back to our literacy in just a moment. But go ahead.
okay, my
Yeah.
bad. Deidre's 36.
Right.
I just want to lay that out there.
I
got
just
time.
I just tell everyone
36.
this.
You got
I
time.
made the post. I'll say it again. Those of you who ran this time around, you run again.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know at some point Stacey Abrams will become governor
Mm-hmm.
of Atlanta? Is it? Yeah.
Georgia.
Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, of Georgia. Because she continues to run. I think there's something to be said about a person that continues
Yeah.
and doesn't give up the first time. So for all of you that ran, I'm encouraging you all to just do it again. I mean, I don't identify as either party, but I think there's something to be spoken about the person who doesn't give up the first time. I've already seen someone who says they're running in 2024 already, and that's the attitude you should have. No matter what, you should be, you should be ready to do that. So,
Well, do you want to close us out with the literacy piece?
okay, so I am a former literacy teacher, so this is definitely my lane. I'm a big advocate of making sure that we spend time reading. Reading is so important, and I will say that some things that you can do to help with family reading time is if you are pregnant, reading now makes sense. Some people think that it doesn't, but I believe it's proven babies can hear those things, those sounds, the music, all of that. Reading now makes sense. Reading with your kids will help them. We talk about the fact that, our young kids are behind grade level in reading. Here's the deal. If you know that in their home people are working, ask them to read to you. Like, it takes a village to raise readers, and we can't just always depend on the people where young people are growing up in. We need the community around them. So I'm encouraging everyone, go pull the little kid that, making all the noise on the street, pull him or her over and just take 5 minutes. They really say the time you should be spending in reading is about approximately 30 minutes a night.
Madison was recording stuff, reading to the little kids on YouTube, and she was going to talk to the cameras, and she was talking to the little kids.
She's back there. She's back there shaking her.
She was just going to read a book and then, tell them good night. That's what I heard.
No, I actually was going to read a book on the show today, but I changed my mind because I was like, that's probably a little too much because it probably is. But I thought about, I'm telling you, stop it. I see it. Stop it. But I think reading is important. It's vital. Reading gives you the knowledge that you need to know what's going on. And not only just the reading piece of it, but there's one piece of reading that I am very passionate about. It's comprehension, knowing what you're reading. Sometimes we focus on all the little things like the fluency. How fast are you reading? To me, you need to know what you're reading. You need to understand it so that way you know what's going on in the world. And so I'm encouraging all of our viewers, small, large, adults, little kids, read. It's important. It helps you know. It helps you understand. It helps you ask questions. So you need to make sure that you read. So this month, we are going to be focusing on Family Literacy Month. We're going to be talking to some authors within our own community who have steps out there to put their books on display, and we'll share with you how you can find those books. But we want to really be an advocate of reading. It is like knowledge is power, and I believe that, and I believe it starts with a book.
You want to know something? I could not read from until I was probably in 6th grade. Hilarious. My mom, they just kept passing me.
Yeah.
But I had a 6th grade teacher a black lady named Miss Wright, and she refused to allow that to be the case. So, yeah, I'm done.
That's something that I can commit to. I think that we've gotten lazy just with our lives being so busy to where I have books on my phone that I listen to when I'm driving or doing things at home instead of
having the time to read a book, a regular book. So I think that's something I will challenge myself to, getting back to just reading regular books and reading books to my children.
Yeah, even for adults, I'm just going to say this. Read something you're passionate about each day. Being on my doctoral journey, it was the kind of thing that was pushed to me was read something in your passion area. If you just read one thing a day, read the newspaper, read things. Even when I'm watching movies, sounds silly, you put the captions on just so you can read all that because you're really comprehending and taking that in a little bit more. So we want to encourage you all to read. Join us next week, the next few weeks, as we bring authors on the show to learn about their story and their love for reading or advice for you. And so we're looking forward to them. And then we will have next week a link for you too to start giving to our gas event that we're having at the first of the year. And we've got some special announcements coming in December. So thank you for joining us. I feel better now than when I came in the room. So thank you for joining us on the Urban Impact Show. Have a blessed week. See you next week.